Okay, we have one more.
You need a seat.
No, not quite. Actually, I sit all day, so this is actually quite relaxing.
Discussion and public hearing of a site plan for Clarity Point and Assisted Living Facility, 901 Concord Park, parcel 37.04, tax map 153, 12.3 acres, zone C-1, Mark Bialik, applicant.
My intent, Ruth, was to have a colored elevation here, but the architect didn't provide me one, so.
What I have shown on the screen here is I included in your packet the staff comment letters and the architectural rendering and the rest of the site plan. I just wanted to show that this entrance here, this is the entrance canopy, the drop-off area, and the building will be earth tones in color, honey taupe, and some other similar names to that, but they are earth tones.
Thank God for architects, right? They come up with these fancy names for yellow, brown, and orange, you know? Not that there's the colors on here, but yeah.
Yes, they will be earth colors, and they're using like a cemesto siding so that it will, parts of it are kind of got a shake look, if I'm, and
The intent of the architectural is to create a residential look, because this facility is intended to be a dementia care facility, so it will be housing people. So we want to have a residential look. The developers want a residential look. They want something that's very pleasing, very soft, very nice on the eyes, so that the residents will be proud to be, well, I mean, hopefully they'll, and then their families will be proud to take their parents or, you know, whoever to this facility.
this facility includes a courtyard. I will show you the site. I will put the site plan for the courtyard on the plant on the overhead. But this are familiar with memory care facilities, but they've done an excellent job with the design of this facility. They have the driveway drives all the way through and connects, and they do provide pedestrian connections to Concord Road here, and then up to the new street that they are building. The courtyard is entirely enclosed in. The bio-retention areas that Mark was referring to, smaller one for this parking lot up here, and then there's a larger one that you can tell that it's not a full detention facility, because given the size of the facility, it's a much smaller, because it only is intended to hold the first inch of rainfall for the first flush aspect of things. The courtyard itself, part of the elderly housing requirement within our regulations, we do require recreation amenities that are appropriate for the facility. In this particular case, this will be a lockdown facility, and so there will be, and the courtyard provides for a secure area for residents with raised planters for the residents to be able to plant, do gardening. There's some open lawn areas, there's outdoor seatings, there is a fountain, and then there are private outdoor seating areas. So this design takes the residents very much into consideration. So we're very lucky to have something of this caliber coming to Farragut, but also by them adding the walking trails. If you are a resident and your family comes to visit you, it gives an opportunity for your family to go for a walk with the resident and in a nice environment in the facility. We are recommending approval, subject to items number 1 through 14, number 14 being meet all town requirements.
None of these are any major issues as far as the staff is concerned?
No, they are just minor, again, tweaking, clarifying some information For example, like number 5 is the landscape calculations. They actually more than exceed. It's just shown with some minor modifications, just so that when we historically, they ever make changes to the future, we have the accurate information, that type of thing.
Actually not having to fight to get landscaping requirements met. As Ruth is used to seeing me come in here with a strip center that's got 99% pavement and no landscaping. This is one where we're going to have lots of landscaping, and the intent of this also is to create a very pleasant, soft environment for the residents, for the neighborhoods. In fact, the lighting plan, which is, I don't know.
A work in progress.
It's a work in progress, but
Yes.
at the same time, Ruth, I think you'll agree
Yes.
that it is not going to be overly lit up either.
No,
This is
it
going
is
to be,
not.
and there, you won't feel unsafe walking to your car, but the people driving up and down Concord Road with the buffering that's required along Concord Road, they will barely notice that there's lights actually over off on the side. So unless you know what it is, you might not find this place either.
I have no problem with any of these.
We are asking for approval subject to these items.
Any more questions? Anyone in the audience? Would you please come over to the microphone, tell us who you are?
Hello, my name is Sarah Malin, and I own some property adjacent to this track. I was kind of interested in the change in elevation. I see, is that going to be a retaining wall?
No, there's no retaining wall on this project.
Okay. So it'll just be land?
Yes, it'll be a 3-to-1 slope.
3 to 1.
In other words, every 3 foot horizontal, you'll drop 1 foot.
And is that a walking trail that goes to the driveway there on the southern part of the property?
There's no connections to the access road to the wastewater treatment pedestrian standpoint unless they walk down the driveway.
Ms. Malin, where is your property located on this picture?
I'm trying to get a map where I can show you. It's this right here.
Has it? That's
Yeah.
correct.
We understand we have to get permission to connection to the access road.
Thank you. Yeah.
We understand that, and that is one of the
Okay.
conditions for the final plan.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we'll talk later then about
Yes.
that. Sounds good. Okay, would it be possible for me to get a copy of these plans, just so I can look them over?
You'll have to talk to Mark about getting
Okay.
copies. I can give you a reduced set, but he's the
Yeah.
keeper of the
If you
copies.
wouldn't mind, just so I can understand what's
I will
coming.
talk to the developer and make sure that he gets you a copy.
All right, thank you. That's all I have.
What else? Do I have a motion? Second? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
And here a little longer.
You do, you do.
You can't take up residency, we don't pay you for it.
Discussion of request to rezone parcel 1.01 and 1.02 tax map 152CC, located on the southwest corner of Kingston Pike and Chaho Road, across from Ingalls, .45, .46, and .44 acres respectively, and from O-1 to C-1. GBS Engineering, Mark Bialik, applicant.
Done wonderful with my name. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
In your packets tonight, I included this copy of this zoning map, and I also included a staff write-up of the request. The area I've highlighted in pink on the overhead to show you the areas that is being requested, there's actually 3 separate parcels owned by 3 siblings, and it is located on the southwest corner of Chaho and Kingston Pike. The property through here fronts on Kingston Pike, along with several other properties that are also zoned office. Over the years, there have been several rezoning requests in this area to rezone from office to commercial. Included in your packets, this lists of the commercial and the C1 uses and the O1 uses. The most recent request that we had for a rezoning in this area.
Across the street from Ingles, correct?
Yes, this is
Yeah.
directly across the street
Okay.
from Ingles. The most recent request of the rezoning we had in this area was the area that is in green. The 3 parcels that are located behind what is now the architect's office actually used to be 2 parcels, and they were vacant. The rezoning was denied, and they subsequently built houses. They re-subdivided those 2 residential lots into 3, and they have built 3 new houses. The architect's office is the new building that's located on the southeast corner of Chaho and Kingston Pike. We have also had requests on property to the east of this to be rezoned from office to commercial. As I pointed out in the staff write-up, is that these lots are substandard in size. They do not currently meet the minimum requirements for either the office zone or the commercial zone. The office zone, however, does have slightly smaller setback requirements, and it's not appropriate to create a more non-compliant situation from what we currently have. Office has historically, not only in Farragut but elsewhere, been used as a transitional land use between more intensive land uses and single-family residential areas. And per our own land use plan, the stated policies are transitional land uses and design elements such as buffer strips should be utilized between residential neighborhoods, commercial areas, and/or other incompatible developments in order to enhance land use compatibility. And also, it states the O-1 office district is located adjacent to commercial districts which abut arterial roadways. This district creates a transitional area between more intensive and less intensive land uses. The district provides office space for professional and personal services, which are intended to serve both local neighborhoods and the larger community, while minimizing traffic flow disruptions and negative impacts to adjacent residential areas. The residential areas, these are long-standing neighborhoods within the town of Farragut, and we have used office and higher density residential as transitional areas along Kingston Pike and other areas. And office uses make a wonderful transition use because their office hours are working hours, are 8 to 5, 8 to 6, 9 to 5 in that time, and so they don't have the negative impacts that commercial zoning has when you're adjacent to them residentially. You can see that this office district extends just to the west of Peterson Road. And then we also have something comparable with this is the R4 district that is located in front of Fox Den. That property was actually rezoned quite a few years ago. They had initially asked for commercial, and it was decided that commercial, it was not appropriate, that there needed to be a transition use that backs up to the residential subdivision, which in this case is Fox Den, and R4 was what was settled on. Some of you may recall also with the Renaissance development, when the area behind Deadwood in Old Stage Hills was, that was zoned residential. There was very steep slopes in there, and it was decided that access would be eliminated to the Old Stage Hills subdivision, but even though the rest of Renaissance was zoned commercial, which had been done quite a few years before, it was appropriate to have office in that area as a transition into the neighborhood.